Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have a National Geographic documentary called the Genoa Bridge Disaster. This is not a fun or just educational documentary. This is pretty serious. This is from 2019. It's 44 minutes long, and it is very much an Italian National Geographic production. All the title cards are in Italian. All the dialogue, the interviews, everything else are in Italian. There are English overdubs for those of us here in the U.S. who will not learn another language. So we have that. And the people who are providing the overdub voices pretty well matched the tone and the pain that a lot of the people that they interview have expressed in these interviews. That said, yes, this, as the title says, this is a disaster. This happened in 2018, August 14th, 2018. And it's a bridge, the Morandi Bridge in Genoa, Italy, just suddenly collapsed. It was an older bridge. It was made in the last century, but 50s, 60s. A lot of the people they interviewed had been born just feet away, meters away from where that bridge was built. They saw this thing be built over their childhood, and it was a centerpiece of their community. It spanned train tracks underneath it, roadways, apartment buildings, businesses, all underneath it, and it stretched a pretty good distance. It's considered they call it the Brooklyn Bridge of Italy, of their area, because in many ways it was just sort of not just a bridge, it was a symbolic piece of architecture. And for me, I enjoy things regarding architecture. I find these things interesting. Not so much when they collapse and people die. So this is very much a somber documentary that talks about the day that it happened, the rescue efforts that were involved, the lives of the people that were changed, and the lives of the people that were taken. They talked to a lot of people of their experiences of being trapped in the rubble, whether they were somebody in a car that was going over and somehow they survived, or there was a mother and daughter going shopping on this rainy Tuesday in a thrift store, the recycle bin, whatever the place was called, and 1 minute they're it's like, oh, it's raining, there's the bridge that we're so used to seeing, and the next minute they're trapped under rubble, not sure if they're going to survive. Send dogs out, they send all sorts of rescue workers. This is a major moment in the lives of everybody in that region of Italy, especially, or Italy as a whole. Much the way the train disaster we had in Ohio not too many months ago, that a lot of us already forgotten, except for the people who are there and are living through it still, who are still dealing with the after effects of this. And there's a little bit of an examination as to the history of the bridge and what could have caused it to suddenly just stop standing. Some people say that it was that something had struck it, that something had fallen on the bridge itself. It could have just been wear and tear in many cases, where you just, even though you might have a strong piece of metal, one guy describes, if you just keep bending it back and forth enough times, and even if it's just a little bit, like the car's driving over it, even if it's not on a busy afternoon or busy morning when this happened, enough times, over time, it weakens and it just goes down. And it's a terrible tragedy, but it's something that I think a number of different bridges around the world got a new inspection request right about that time to say, hey, we might need to look at this. We might need to, let's just make sure it's up to date, or if it's not, and we're not going to do anything about it, let's shut it down. We can't take that risk. The bridge of this size, once you see it in scale to the houses and the businesses and everything else underneath it, and the cars and things that went over it, you'll understand just how big of a loss this is. I tried to find it on a map, and I was searching. There's a number of things that are named Morandi after the name of the man who designed the bridge. It was a solid bridge. It was a futuristic style way it was constructed, completely of concrete. But at the time, times change, so things change, and things wear down. So I say if you're interested in this kind of stuff, obviously you want to check it out. It might be a bit sad for a number of people. It might not count as entertainment. It shouldn't be, but it's something that it's interesting to check out if you're interested in not just the building of bridges, but what can happen when we do not take care of them. It was actually inspected, and there was actually work being done on it in the months leading up to this. In the year of 2018, people showed that they shot a video with their phone at 1 o'clock in the morning almost, going, look, we can hear the guys working on it, like in January or February of that same year. And it was keeping them up at night. The noise that they were working on the bridge. And eventually, at some point, it stopped. And at some point, it just decided to go away. So yeah, it's not. Again, don't expect this to be fun in any way. It is educational though. So yeah, definitely check it out if you get a chance. But I have a feeling that not a lot of people are going to go running toward it. Like, oh my gosh, I need to be depressed. Let's pick tomorrow's episode.
357.
357. And certainly never to belittle anything of the lives that were lost. This is also, it can watch it as a means to remember the people that were lost. More than 40 people died in this tragedy. I think 43. So yeah, it's whatever. I can't say it. And okay, we're back to the documentary run, 2 in a row, and it's one of our favorites, one of our favorite subjects. And it's another one that makes use of okay, never mind, it's a raging bull shark. Makes pop culture references. There was 50 Shades of Sharks on Disney Plus. It wasn't sexy as far as I know. I can't remember if we saw it or not. I just know it's in the list. But it's about bull sharks. But Raging Bull, that movie, the boxing movie? Why don't we make a documentary called Raging Bull Sharks? That's what we're watching next. Raging Bull Sharks on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.